Disney Villainous Perfectly Wretched has 2 or 3 villains playing and manipulating to foil each other's plans and fulfill their own. I explained how Disney Villainous's gameplay works in my Evil Comes Prepared review back in March 2020. I'll link to that video at the end of this one and just focus on what the new villains bring to the table. Cruella de Vil wants those puppies. The face-down puppy tokens show 11 or 22 puppies plus a location on the other side. Radcliffe House, Milk Farm, and so on. When revealed, place the token on its match. Cruella won't get her own hands dirty, so you'll only be able to collect puppies using Horace and Jasper. Pongo and Perdita aren't going to give up their pups without a fight, though, so watch out for them and their friends. Mother Gothel will stop at nothing to keep Rapunzel locked away in the tower. Rapunzel, each turn, will escape and move toward Corona. If she starts her turn in Corona, Mother Gothel will lose 1 trust at the end of the turn. By vanquishing Rapunzel, she returns to her tower and you can start laying out your defenses again. Trust use the same tokens as power, but you cannot spend them as power. Shuffle Pete's 5 goals, then place 4 face down on his board. You may look at these goals at any time, but they are unknown to others until game effects reveal them. Pete is good at manipulating his deck and his items add action symbols to make each location more powerful. Cruella wins if she starts her turn with at least 99 puppies. Mother Gothel wins if she starts her turn with at least 10 trust. Pete wins once he has completed his 4 goals. Move your villain, take actions, and do what it takes to fulfill your objective while doing whatever it takes to stop an opponent from fulfilling theirs. That's Disney Villainous Perfectly Wretched. You can play Disney Villainous Perfectly Wretched on a large rectangular coffee table. There's a bit of grade 2 or 3 reading, and players will need to understand how to maximize their turns and timing, plus manipulate the deck in order to get the cards they need. With all that said, I can't see it being especially difficult for experienced 8-year-old gamers. Game length depends on the cards and players, but expect your first few games to be 75 to 90 minutes. Once comfortable, games will range from 30 to 60 minutes. In our second game of Disney Villainous Perfectly Wretched, my Pete had an amazing starting hand. I went to the casino to play a game. I gained lots of power and completed a goal on my first turn. Unfortunately, Mom's Cruella is gathering puppies by the handful. I wanted to target her, but she had the Fate token, so I had no choice to go after Dad. His Mother Gothel had some trust, but not enough to worry me. A turn later, and things were neck and neck. Dad had gained a few trust tokens, Mom's up to 66 puppies, and I had just completed my 3rd goal. I had to make the perfect decision on my turn. And I did. Dad got up to 9 trust, 1 away, and Mom had 88 Dalmatian pups. It was quite the tense and exciting game. I love that Disney Villainous Perfectly Wretched is an expandalone. If you have the original game with its 6 characters, this adds 3 more to the mix. If you only have this, you can play with these 3 and decide later if you ever want more. The rulebook, guides, and reference are really good at preparing you for both the general gameplay and how to approach each character. It's handy not just for new gamers, but for people like us. I love the Fate action. You're a villain, so of course you'll take it out on other players if they get in the way. The fact that you can't be fated consecutively is not only great design, but it can be a tiny bit of protection. Cruella de Vil doesn't need to get her hands dirty when she can just order around her cronies. The puppies add a luck element that I haven't seen in any other villain so far, but this can be mitigated. Her strategy is all about moving puppies and allies to the same place, then scooping up a pile of the dogs. As usual with Disney Villainous, it's thematic and fun. Mother Gothel is like Scar from Evil Comes Prepared. She starts slowly, but watch out when she has her engine started. Her mechanics perfectly capture her theme. Rapunzel grows distressful if she gets to Corona and learns her true story, so if you're going to use every dirty trick in the book to keep her in the tower. Pete's goals reflect all the times he was a villain in the classic cartoons, so he's less of a one big goal guy and more of a handful of schemes one. Very cool. The randomized goals add a fun twist to the usual setup, and I like that you gain extra actions from his items. I'm thankful that most games last under 60 minutes. Once games are over an hour, you have brawling games like Smash Up and Dice Throne as options, but also many classic games. I've always said that I wish games lasted around 45 minutes, but I still like this a lot. Maybe we just fate one another too much. Once you really know each character's mechanisms, games do tend to drop below an hour, which helps. Disney Villainous Perfectly Wretched is a card game with take that, strategy, and a ton of replayability. I actually like Villainous more than Smash Up. It requires more difficult decisions on how to approach each turn. Do you fate your opponent to slow them down? You need to get a card out to move toward your goal, but don't have enough power, so hold on to it and unleash a big turn later. I love Smash Up's hand management and faction combos, but the asymmetric gameplay and goals, theme, and public yet kinda shielded win conditions mean Villainous challenges you as a player to be aware of what's happening around the table.